And I think I'm out of focus the whole time, and this is the focus. Oh my god, if this is the real focus and I've been out of focus the whole time, oh my god. I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this again. This is going up there, out of focus. Hello and welcome back to my reading corner. Thanks for joining me. I am here today to talk to you about my December TBR. I do have quite some time off work, so I am planning on reading a lot of books. The selection that I have here today is only a few books that I really want to get to this month. I also do want to take part in 2 readathons, and I have not picked my books for that yet. I will do separate TBRs for those readathons as well. The 2 readathons that I want to take part in is the Cremathon and the Holiday Adventure-a-thon. To my December TBR aside of that. The first one is the book that I got in the Owl Crate. It's the Glass Bear by Lauren Di Stefano. It is a first in a new fantasy duology, and it is a tale of love, loss, and deadly power. It is about Will, who is the 4th child of a king and the only daughter. She has been raised hidden from the world in order to serve as a spy for her father, and the kingdom is kind of on the brink of war. Will does want to explore the world, but is not really given a chance to do that by her father. One night she does discover that her touch turns people into gemstones. At first she is horrified, but as she tests its limits, she's drawn more and more to the strange and volatile ability. When that leads to tragedy, Will is forced to face the destructive power within her and finally has to leave her home to seek the truth and a cure. So it sounds really interesting, and I am looking forward to getting into this. The second book that I want to get into is the Booksplosion book of the month. It's Otherworld by Jason Segel and Kirsten Miller. I think somebody described it as Ready Player One meets Hunger Games. Yes please. It is a book about a virtual reality game that is so real, and like there's no crimes and you can do whatever you want, whatever you always wanted to do but didn't really dare to do in real life. Here you can do it, and it's supposed to be so addictive that you don't really want to leave. It is like a scary look into our future. This is book 2. The next book is already a little bit of an oldie. All of my next books are about catching up and are a little bit older. The next one I really want to read is Because You Love to Hate Me, the 13 Tales of Villainy. I simply want to read this because I love villains and I love retellings of stories from the villain's perspective. If you have not heard about this before, you should really pick this up, because this is an anthology where 13 of the most influential booktubers have collaborated with 13 amazing YA authors to reimagine fairy tales from the villain's point of view. So perfect. The next book that I want to dive into is The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. It has gotten some conflicting reviews, and the concept does not sound that new. I think somebody called it Hunger Games with a sprinkle of Divergent. It has received some literary awards, and I liked the Hunger Games, I liked Divergent, and I like to read that type of story, so to me it's fine that it's not completely new at this point. This is about like the world is divided into blood, red or silver blood, and the reds are commoners ruled by the silver elite, and the silvers have like superpowers. The main character has red blood, but when she is working at the Silver Palace, she discovers that despite her red blood, she possesses a deadly power as well. So this sounds like regal politics and class, like a class war and stuff. It sounds interesting enough. I just like the cover. I like this special edition. So yeah, reading that one. Next on my TBR seems to be an all-time favorite of a lot of booktubers as well, and I have not read it, so catching up on Marissa Meyer's Cinder. If you haven't heard of this before, it's a sci-fi fairy tale retelling. From what I read, it is not too close to the fairy tale, and it has gotten really good ratings throughout, so excited to get into this one. So what can I say about the next one on my TBR? Except for shame, shame, shame on me that I haven't read it before. Enough said. Didn't read anything by Cassandra Clare before joining BookTube. Have read the first one. Was a little underwhelmed, to be honest, because everybody's raving about so much. But then I heard some booktubers say that you should stick to it until book 3, so I am planning to read book 2 and 3 in December. It is giving me a little bit much of a Buffy vibe, even though I don't really want to compare it to Buffy. It just gives me that vibe so much, and I love Buffy and I've overdosed on Buffy, so maybe that's why I'm a little bit on the fence, but I want to love it, and I am pretty sure that I might start loving it once I get to book 3, hopefully, fingers crossed. So the next one that I want to get into is an old one as well. It's Endgame. I do like these types of books a lot, like all those books that include a game of some sort. And I like the cover again. What really convinced me to pick this up was what Little Book Owl was writing on Goodreads. And she said, for those of you concerned about Endgame being constantly compared to the Hunger Games, which has been done primarily from the synopsis alone, after reading it, I can see that these two are quite different. This book sets itself apart with the genre, the setting, the format. We follow all of the players and the journeys, and the plot is a lot more complex than it seems. This book sets up a lot of mystery and intrigue, which this first installment starts to explore. But the next books will evidently unravel these and divulge even more secrets as they go. I love everything that has to do with games. Another major catch-up is going to be on my Kindle. I do like to read on my Kindle when I'm traveling, because I just don't like to pack a whole bag of books. I usually just like to have one book with me, and if I'm traveling for several days and I'm trying to read more than one book, or expecting to read more than one book, this is the way to go for me. And yeah, I'll be leaving for South France tomorrow. So this is going with me, and it definitely needs to be charged before I go. Up is going to be A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. If I need to introduce you to the series, welcome to BookTube, and how the heck did you find my little corner here? Go watch my videos. So this is my catching up pile, and definitely have to read in December. If you have any recommendations for me to catch up on, because I haven't been reading for years and I have to catch up on several years of YA fun, please leave me your recommendations down below. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you join me again soon. Bye! It was a crash.